What's up, YouTube? Get over here! You guys know who does that intro? Get over here! I like that guy, he's so funny. Omi in a Hellcat. Omi in a Hellcat. I'll try to redo his intro one time, like the whole thing, from the Lambo to the whatever, to the Hellcat. I'll try to do it one time. Anyway, without wasting your time, I want to put this whole saga to rest. Gareth Bale, Zinedine Zidan. I'm gonna blame both people. And I know right now there's a lot of people defending Bale. They are saying that Zidane has been so harsh to him. It's understandable. There's some remarks that I also feel like were really so harsh, but all that comes after a certain build up. Zidane just didn't wake up and started being harsh. This all built up to this point. You know what I mean? So I agree some remarks were harsh, but this is something that has been going on and on and on and on. A player, when the coach shows you that he's not going to play you, there's nothing you can do. You cannot be in a team where you're not liked. It's impossible. You're there to play soccer. Yes, some people may say, oh, just bleed them, take the money and just bleed them dry, whatever, whatever. But regardless, even if they give you money, you're seated, it's not going to do anything. At this point, at my age, I've already believed money does not equate to happiness. But I know lots of people, it will take them forever to understand that statement, but it's the truth. I've been in that situation too. I'm not saying I was making as much as Bell is making, but at least I thank God at my age, I already know like money does not equate to happiness. I know this. I already know with the little examples that I have from my life. You know what I mean? So Bell, you're not just gonna sit there in the stands, watch, get your money, go home. It affects you really. It really, really affects you. Because Gareth Bale has a lot of potential. But then, okay, now let me go on the other side. Like I said, I feel like some of Zidane's remarks were harsh and so on and so forth. So now let me turn the tables to the other side, to Mr. Gareth Bale. Seriously, Bale, I want I know like a lot of people are gonna realize this. To one extent, me I would say to an extent, I'm not gonna say to a small, large extent, but I feel like there's some kind of arrogance with this man. How can you tell me you've lived in a country for almost half a decade and you can't communicate, you can't speak Spanish, you can't hold a conversation like a basic conversation in Spanish? Like, how so childish is that? You go to a country, you sign up that you're going to work there, and you're in that country and you can't speak the language for almost half a decade? Like, are you kidding me? I know sports, it's like, okay, they pass me the ball, then yeah, like we score, whatever, whatever. But, just in Madrid, in Bernabeu every day, there's other things you do in this country. So you can't tell me that you've lived in a country for almost half a decade and you can't speak their language. This is unacceptable. Like, I'm really sorry. This is unacceptable. You know what I mean? I was so disappointed when I read that story. I couldn't even believe it. The man can't hold a conversation, a basic conversation in Spanish. And Spanish, I feel like it's an easy language. Because look, Spanish and English, they have the same alphabet. So you don't have much of an excuse, you know? Like, how can I say this? I always feel like it would be hard for me to learn Mandarin because the alphabet is way different. It would be hard for me to learn, I don't know, those other languages that don't use the English alphabet. It would be so hard for me in that sense. But Spanish, English is the same alphabet. So how can you tell me 5 years, seriously, you can't communicate with people? I think this is why the fans, regardless of what Bale has done, regardless of how much he's helped the team, the fans don't feel connected to him. Let me tell you guys, learning a language is like crossing a bridge. It's like being on this side and they tell you, oh, the enemies are approaching, but if you cross that place, you're safe. You know what I mean? So This man, I feel like he never reached that point of crossing the bridge. For him, he decided to remain there until the enemies caught him. I've seen, I don't know if the fans have ever been any, uh, I think they've been the harshest with him because they feel like they can't connect to this man. You're in Spain for 5, 6 years and you're still conducting, I don't know, interviews in English. Like, really? There's no way you can convince me. I swear to God, like, there's just no way you can convince me on this matter. The Bale, you really, really disappoint. You let yourself down. 5 years, you can't hold a conversation in Spanish. No, 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 no. That's wrong. That's very, very wrong and disrespectful. You know what I mean? Because you decided to go in that country. You knew that country they speak Spanish. I know most Europeans they speak English. You go to Netherlands, you go to Sweden, you go to I think Denmark, whatever. Most of these people they know English, but regardless, their first language is whichever language. Like in Swedish, it will be Swedish. In Netherlands, it will be Dutch or whatever. In here you're in Spain, so it's gonna be Spanish, obviously. You know what I mean? I always see players when they come to EPL. The first thing they say, "Oh, I'm gonna try to get English tutor. I wanna learn. Yeah, I'm gonna have to learn English so that I can communicate with other people." Yeah, that is very, very real. It's very important because when you're in this Rome, when you go to Rome, you have to do as the Romans do. It's simple. You know what I mean? Okay, so that is the biggest thing. I put it on the side. Bell failed to learn Spanish. He couldn't communicate. I remember the little words they said that he could learn. I remember Marcelo and I don't know, is it Ramos and someone else? They said the little words he could speak, and I laughed. I've forgotten. Uh, the other thing I'm gonna go to, it's the injury problem. Bell, this 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 is so it's so unfortunate because no one can decide if you're gonna get injured or not. But again, in soccer, in these kind of establishments, these people they look at you like, okay, this person is injury prone. He's a glass man. They call them that glass man. That this person is a glass man. He's injury prone. So they feel like they can't count on you. You're gonna come, be good for 3 months, boom, 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 boom. Then you're off for 1 month. You're off for 2 months. Then you come back, boom, 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 2 months. Then you're off for 2 weeks. You're off for 3 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Trust me, it's not just soccer. In anything in life, if there's no consistency, I swear to God, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter how much you put in. That's it. End of story. If there's no consistency, I swear, even if it's music, even if I love music so much too, even if it's, you tell me anything, you name it. Even if it's a labor job, even if it's, I don't know, man, you name it. No consistency, sorry, game over. I swear to God. No consistency, game over. No, nothing else. No, there's no other explanation. So Bell, like that thing also really affected him and his relationship with the fans. Because I heard that in Madrid, the fans have a very, very huge say in regards to players. You know what I mean? So they see this man, he comes 2 months, 3 months, then injured, then 1 month, then 2 months, then injured, then you know what I mean? So it's so hard for Bell, it's so hard for the fans to count on Bell. You know what I mean? But like I said, for the injury thing, it's so unfortunate because there's no player who decide to get injured. That one is really so unfortunate, and I feel so bad for him. Plus, lots of other players. I'm seeing this young man, Nathaniel Klein, is also starting to struggle with these things. I don't know, man. I feel so bad for the soccer players. I know they're getting a lot of money, whatever, whatever. But just imagine being there at home, you're sleeping, watching your friends, they're playing, you're there at home. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna get sick. That's why they say there's a lot of mental problems in professional soccer players. A lot of mental problems. You know what I mean? Because of things like this, man. That's why injury is not something to play with. Me, I would really want to support any player if they're going through an injury. It's so terrible. But the other thing I can say, players need to take, what can I say? They need to borrow cues from other players that have been through these situations and bounced back. Look at a man like Jibril Cisse. During his career, he fractured both legs on different occasions. One time, I think they were playing with China. Then another time, I think he was still in the EPL with Liverpool when he fractured his leg. But I tell you, Jibril Cisse, he bounced back, and even he kept playing at the highest level until he retired. You know what I mean? So players, I wish you could look at other players that have been in situations and bounced back. Look at Phenomenal, the old Ronaldo, the old one, the real, like the old Ronaldo, you know what I mean? That guy got a very crazy injury. But later on, he came back and helped Brazil to win the World Cup. That's really big, you know? For someone to get those crazy, I think it was an ACL injury, something like that. You correct me if I'm wrong, because anything to do with ligament, that is crazy, you know? But the phenomenal, the Ronaldo, the big guy, he came back and he won World Cup, and he had like a very good career until he decided to call it quits. You know what I mean? So players, whenever you get injuries, I pray that you look at other players that have been in the situation and bounced back. You know what I mean? Because that resilience is so important in professional soccer players. It's so important. So I talked about two things on Bale's side: the injury and the language. Trust me, those two things can really turn off fans. They can really turn off fans. And I'm not a Madrid big diehard or anything, but I know those things, they really can. If you're a soccer player, rather a soccer fan, you know what I mean, right? If a player is not playing, if a player like Bell, you've been 5 years, you can't communicate with the people, they feel like you're not part of them. And you know, soccer, it is like love. It's like soccer, it's like community, you know. And Madrid is quite large, like it's one of those large cities. In those large cities, they don't like people who are conservative. So if you live in a large city and you can communicate, you can, people feel like, even if they try to get the best out of you, it's gonna be hard for them. You know what I mean? So I feel sorry for Gareth Bale, but that is the fact. This is life. And also, you players, you have to know there's no loyalty in soccer. As long as the coach is replaced, the new coach comes, he feels like you're not up to par. That's it. Game over. You know what I mean? So, guys, let me know if there's anything I left out. We can go on with this Zidane Gareth Bale on and on and on and on, but I prefer to leave it at this for now. I don't like to make very long videos. I'll come back again and talk about something else, because this channel, I talk about anything, whatever, whenever, however I like. You know what I mean? Okay, guys, peace. Let me know what you think.